Tonight on the South Today, in early spring, polar blast closes roads and causes chaos across the south, delaying school starts and cancelling buses. Dunedin's Canine Medical Detection receives a unique donation from New Zealand Police, a new puppy. And a group of southern performers are rehearsing ahead of a spectacular circus showcase in Dunedin. Kia ora, good evening. I'm Hannah Wilkins. Roads were closed and there were multiple car accidents as a wintry blast visited the south last night. Snow froze on some roads around the city, making conditions treacherous, especially on the hills, with the weather also closing State Highway 1 north of the city overnight.
Last night's snow and ice made for slippery roads in Dunedin, prompting police warnings for people not to drive. The Dunedin City Council says hail, snow and freezing conditions overnight caused treacherous driving conditions, with snow and widespread black ice in many areas, especially in the city's hill suburbs. Contractors were out gritting roads overnight, but conditions meant they weren't able to reach all areas. Some drivers found themselves stuck after losing traction uphill, while others could be seen and heard deliberately losing traction on the slippery roads. Minor crashes and traffic incidents were reported around the city, with vehicles sliding into fences and parked cars. Some motorists decided the best plan was to abandon their vehicles along the roadside last night, picking them up this morning. The city's northern motorway was closed overnight but reopened this morning with cautions in place. 3 Mile Hill Road and a highway between Middlemarch and Outram were also both closed due to snow. Met Service says while the worst of the weather was set to clear away today, temperatures this week will remain cooler than the region has experienced recently. In Dunedin, the South Today.
And the solid spring dusting on Dunedin's hill suburbs meant a delayed start to school for many families. A number of schools didn't open until late morning, giving children a chance to go out and enjoy the snow. While their parents fretted about navigating the treacherous snow-covered roads of Dunedin's hill suburbs, it was a fun morning off school for many pupils. All of Dunedin's primary, intermediate and high schools had delayed starts this morning, as did Otago Polytechnic. Many youngsters made the most of the snow to try out their toboggans, have snow fights, build snow people and discover how quickly a rolled snowball becomes heavy and almost immovable. City bus services were affected by roads made temporarily impassable due to slippery conditions, but pedestrians seemed less bothered, with the snow on footpaths melting quickly. The rest of the week is expected to be mainly clear as a ridge of high pressure builds across southern and central New Zealand. But the longer range forecast shows more snow may be on the way early next week. And those temperatures dropped overnight across the South Island. Snow fell to sea level at Christchurch's New Brighton Beach, coating the sand white.
Christchurch residents woke to a rare coating of snow covering large parts of the city this morning. The surprise blast came as a large cold snap pushed up from the south, with heavy snowfall closing a number of roads in both the South and North Islands. Snow fell to sea level in New Brighton, coating the sand with snow. But some decided to brave the freezing conditions to hit the surf. Among the hardy early morning surfers was Michaela Dyer, who was keen to freshen up after her night shift.
It's always been a dream, and we haven't had snow down to sea level for a few years, so I'm just taking the opportunity.
She says surfing was a good way for her to de-stress, but had to admit it was a bit chilly. In Christchurch, the South Today.
A Dunedin medical charity has been given a unique donation by New Zealand Police, a new puppy. The 9-week-old Golden Labrador is set to join a team of other working dogs, all helping to detect cancers in humans.
Just 9 weeks old and still learning about the world, this puppy called Hogan has been gifted by New Zealand Police to a local charity called Canine Medical Detection. Hogan will eventually join Levi and Frida, 2 other dogs that have already been trained by the charity to use their powerful noses to detect bowel and prostate cancer in humans.
We're not sure which cancer he will be training for. He has to just grow up, be a puppy, learn about the world before he actually commences formal training.
Hogan is one of a litter of 5 pups from a police detector dog, and Canine Medical Detection CEO Pauline Blomfield says getting a puppy of Hogan's calibre is a big deal.
He comes from a very high quality working line background, and these dogs are not easy to come by, hence how privileged we feel that the police have gifted this dog to us.
Hogan's name is a tribute to the donations the charity has received from local roading company Fulton Hogan. In Dunedin, the South Today.
Performers are busy rehearsing ahead of a cabaret and circus show opening in Dunedin on Thursday. The travelling troupe reckons there's something for everyone and say while you could bring your grandma, maybe don't bring a nun.
Getting into the swing of things. Poi performer Xanthi Naylor is one of the cast practising ahead of this week's Stardust show, being held at Te Whare o Rukutia in Dunedin. Naylor says this show draws on prior events the team has put on.
So it's a bit more of a polished show than what we've done in the past, where for Fringe we did the Renegade Cabaret, and this is kind of a development on that style of cabaret, but with a little bit more polishing, a little bit more cohesion between each act and the musical accompaniment to the whole show.
In this piece, Rama Tap is being held up by Eli Joseph, while Xanthi Naylor spins Poi, illuminated by LEDs. These 3 are just a few of the performers being showcased in the cabaret and circus performance. Naylor hopes there'll be something for everyone.
So there'll be live music, there'll be dance and a lot of circus, a lot of aerial performance, so straps, Chinese pole and aerial ring. Stardust is set to run for 3 nights at Te Whare o Rukutia in Princess Street. Organisers describing some of the content as a little saucy. In Dunedin, the South Today.
Whaiakane, still to come on the South Today. The Winter Games fall victim to the wild wintry weather, but podium finishes go ahead. And it comes down to the wire in a hockey final showdown between St Peter's and Mount Aspiring College.
All new episodes of Put Some Colour in Your Life are now screening on Channel 39. Take a look at Australian artists and the techniques they use in their studio. Put Some Colour in Your Life. Tuesdays, 7:30.
A poorly maintained heat pump can lose up to 35% of its output. The Mr. Heat Pump Cleaner team are experts. Their specially developed chemical wash is totally biodegradable. Call Mr. Heat Pump Cleaner and get the job done by the professionals.
Shall I make some scones?
If you're at risk of developing melanoma skin cancer, you owe it to yourself to have a mole map. Mole map is coming to your area. Phone today to make an appointment. It could save your life.
Tēnā koe, welcome back. The Cardrona Slopestyle finals as part of the Winter Games were again thwarted by the weather. However, organisers were still able to award results for all competitors, with earlier qualifying figures used to decide the winners.
Near blizzard conditions and very high winds meant athletes taking part in the Cardrona Snowboard and Slopestyle finals couldn't see far enough down the course to safely compete. A few brave souls took on the conditions before organisers called off the event. It was decided results from Saturday's qualifying rounds would be used to determine the winners. The decision was good for local athletes Ruby Andrews and Luca Harrington, topping the women's and men's free ski slopestyle events. Both winners showcasing impressive aerial tricks, including a right double cork 1260 tail grab from Harrington and Andrews throwing down a switch Misty 900. Events on the Winter Games NZ calendar are due to continue this week, weather permitting. At Cardrona, the South Today.
Young athletes from across the South Island have been competing in Gore at the 2022 Mixed Secondary School Hockey Tournament. St Peter's College and Mount Aspiring College met over the weekend in a closely fought final.
15 South Island hockey teams converged on Gore last week, taking part in the 2022 Mixed Secondary Schools Hockey Tournament. St Peter's College came second in the final to Mount Aspiring College, with the local captain George Headley philosophical about the result.
In the quarterfinals we won, semi-finals we won, and just today we lost 3-1 to Mount Aspiring. Well, that's the game, I guess.
The teams were divided into 4 pools for Monday's and Tuesday's games to find the top 8 teams for Wednesday's quarter-finals. Headley says even though they were beaten in the final, he believes the team had been playing better during the tournament.
We just wanted to play as a team, really, just see how far we progressed. Making a final was a big tip-off, really. It's really good for the team's culture and school's performance, really.
In the final, Mount Aspiring opened the scoring and were up 1-0 at half-time. Early in the second half, St Peter's scored to keep the large crowd's hopes alive, but Mount Aspiring quickly replied, eventually taking out the tournament. In Gore, the South Today.
And now recapping tonight's top stories on the South Today. A very late wintry blast closed roads and caused chaos across the south overnight and into this morning. Dunedin's K9 Medical Detection receives a unique donation from the police, a new puppy to help them sniff out cancer. And a group of southern performers are rehearsing ahead of a spectacular circus showcase in Dunedin. And now a look at what's happening in tomorrow's ODT, and we welcome the editor, Barry Stewart. Kia ora, Barry.
Hello, Heather.
What's in your paper tomorrow?
Well, a Christchurch accommodation company is seeking consent to build temporary accommodation for 50 workers for the new hospital. So that is at the former Brighton Caravan Park. So we had a story some time ago saying they'd sold it and people were told to vacate. And that's what it's all about, of course, so accommodation for hospital workers, so that'll be interesting. And talking of the hospital, we had a story on Saturday, wasn't it, about the new Dunedin Hospital and the cost-cutting proposals there. And Mayor Aaron Hawkins has today said that those proposals could well lead to protest action and marches in the street, as has happened previously about hospital issues. So we'll see what happens there. It's early days. But and more on council and politics and elections. The Invercargill City Council, we have mayoral profiles of all the candidates there, which is pretty interesting reading.
Oh, we look forward to reading all that and more. Thanks, Barry.
Okay, thank you.
And time now for a look at the weather.
The South Today weather, proudly brought to you by MoleMap, the skin cancer detection specialists.
Looking at the situation, another couple of cold days to go in the southwesterly spell, with more showers about the coast tomorrow and frosts inland. Heading to the top of the South Island, fine with southwesterlies up these ways tomorrow, 15 in Nelson, 14 over in Greymouth and 12 down in Christchurch. Travelling to South Canterbury and North Otago. The southwesterlies continue through here too. Ashburton looks fine with 11, and while Timaru and Awamaru match that number, expect some cloud cover at times. Westwards now to the Central Lakes, and the cold southwest winds pick up through the valleys here. Wanaka and Queenstown hit double digits with 10 tomorrow, and Alexandra heads for a high of 11 degrees. Heading further south, showers and fresh southwesterlies after a chilly morning. Balclutha, Gore and the Catlins all reach cool highs of 8 degrees. Now down to the deep south. Gusty winds tonight in Invercargill down to 3. Showers first up tomorrow, but they'll clear, leaving cloudy skies and cold winds up to 8 degrees. Thursday looks sunny but chilly with a high of 11 before a frost overnight, taking the south to the end of the working week. And lastly, heading to Dunedin. Cold and frosty tonight with a low of 2. Midweek looks cloudy with southwest winds and a few showers up to 11. And Thursday's fine and frosty with northeasterlies and cool temperatures. Expect a high of 10 degrees. And that's the news this Tuesday. For the latest news and videos from the southern region, head online to odt.co.nz. And you can follow Channel 39 on YouTube to catch our news bulletins on demand. Just a reminder to also join us on Thursday night at 7:30 for our local body election special, meeting the 11 candidates standing to be the next Mayor of Dunedin. We'll see you again tomorrow. Ka kite a popo.
Public interest journalism funded through New Zealand On Air.